My name's Emma and I'm a senior physiotherapist at OSD Healthcare. Skiing is obviously a high impact exercise, so there is lots of risk to injuries, particularly to knees and ankles. It's really hard on your legs, which is why it's important to do a rehab program to get ready for skiing. So we're now going to demonstrate a set of generic exercises that you can do at home to build the muscle strength in your legs to get you ready for the ski season. And with each exercise you need to do reps of about 8 to 12 with a minute or two between each set, so that you're giving that muscle chance to recover to be able to then build again. The first exercise is to build up your quad muscles. They're really important to support your knees in skiing, and they do an awful lot of work. So we're just going to start with something basic, which is a squat. So your feet are going to be hip width apart, and you're gently going to bend your knees as though you're sinking to sit on a chair and back up again. You can rest your hands out in front of you, and we're going to aim for reps of 8 to 12, having a minute's rest after you finish that set, and then you're going to repeat that twice more. As a progression of this exercise, you can use a weight to make it harder. So in this case, we're using a kettlebell, but you can use dumbbells, or even as simple as finding bottles of water or cans at home to give you extra body weight. And it's a case of keeping good technique, so making sure that those knees stay over the top of your feet, making sure that your knees aren't collapsing inwards. And this should be a pain-free exercise. So the next exercise is a Romanian deadlift. We're doing them as single legs. This is to really work on your glute muscles and your hamstrings, which are the supporting muscles when you're skiing. So what you're going to do is you're going to bend forward, taking your leg out behind you, making sure that back's staying nice and flat and you're extending from that hip. And you can actually progress that exercise by using a weight. To use a weight, you're going to bend down forward, pick up the weight and bring it back in. And you can use either dumbbells or a kettlebell, or you can just use any weight that you've got at home. So the next exercise is a lunge. Again, it's working mainly on your quad muscles, but the supporting muscles of your hamstrings and glutes as well. So initially I'd do it as a dynamic lunge, which just means you're stepping into that lunge. And you need to do this on both sides. Now, to progress this further, to cope with the multi-direction of you changing direction as you're skiing, you can change those lunges into different directions. And again, swapping legs. The next exercise, we're going to do crab walks, which is building up the muscles to the side of your bum muscles, called glute med. It keeps your pelvis nice and square as you're skiing. We're also doing that in a semi-squat position, so back into that skiing position. So what you're going to do is a side step to the side, do a mini squat. For this one, we've actually picked a band to add a bit of resistance, but you can do it without by carrying a weight as well. So the next exercise is a dead bug exercise. This is to work your oblique muscles across your tummy. So you're going to lie on your back and you're going to bring your feet gently up off the floor, so you make a tabletop position with your hands up in front of you. Then you're gently going to extend opposite arms to opposite legs, coming back in. Now it's really important that your lower back stays nice and still. It shouldn't lift off the mat. It's a case of keeping that core nice and tight as you stretch your arms back and forwards. And you just have to think of a soldier marching. It's opposite arms to opposite legs. Now if we wanted to make that a little bit harder, you can add some weights to your hands. But the important thing is that you shouldn't push it too far. It shouldn't feel like your lower back's leaving that mat. It should stay nice and still. So for the next exercise, we're actually going to focus more on your core. So we're just going for a plank exercise. So it's lying down onto your tummy, and then you're going to come up onto your elbows and onto your feet, keeping your back nice and straight. So it's making sure that your bum doesn't stick up too high and that you stay feeling like your body is level, and you should feel your actual tummy muscles work. Now this is slightly different to the other exercises we've done. I'd hold this initially for about 20 seconds and then you can build up towards a minute, and I'd probably repeat that 3 or 4 times. We're also going to adapt this plank so that you do it on each side, because your obliques are quite important in skiing. Because you change direction quite often, we're going to get you to work each side as well. So I'm going to get James to change onto his side. So at which point he's working through his feet, pushing his side up and off the floor, keeping his weight going through his shoulder. But again, it should be his core doing the work, and you shouldn't feel it happening too much through your shoulder. So another good exercise is to do an actual static squat, because that's the position you're in for a lot of skiing. So it's a case of finding a nice piece of wall, and you're going to gently sink down into your nice squat position, and you're going to actually hold it still. And much like the plank, you're aiming perhaps to start with about 20 seconds hold, and you can build that up to a minute. But the first time you do it, I do about 5 sort of 20-second holds. And again, it's looking at that knee position, making sure that your knees aren't coming inwards. Those knees are staying nicely over your feet, and that you're working your bum muscles just to help control that squat. Good, you can come up. And if you want a more personalised plan, you can call us here at OSD Healthcare.